What's up, guys? Doubles here with a quick Fafnir tips and tricks guide. I mean, it's not really a guide. If you guys are interested, I can do a guide. I just have the god to 10, and I play him a little different than most, so I kind of want to tell you guys how I play him, what I do with him. So when I start out with Fafnir, you start out with like 1,500 gold, depending on the game mode that you're playing, right? I try to keep that as close to 1,000 as I possibly can, in order to get those 30 magical and physical protections. Those things are huge in the beginning of the game. Now, usually I play Joust, so in Joust, I'll get like all my skills, or I'll level 2 into my 1. Basically, what I do is I level my 1 the most, and then I level my 2, and I level my ult as I can, because staying in ultimate is a huge deal. Your ultimate, I mean, the longer you're in the ultimate, the more abilities you're able to get off, and the ult is where you do all your damage, right? Even though you're support, you still have this chance of just wrecking guys, especially squishies. So basically what I do, 2 into my 1, and then 1 into my 2, and then I'll get my 3 at 4, and I'll get my 4 when I turn 5, right? That's really confusing, I understand, okay? Basically why I max my 1 and my 2 before my 3 is my 1 is my damage, right? But the huge thing to look at is that dragon protection debuff. That thing is amazing. So basically, when you turn into a dragon, you know, you go into your ultimate, and you have poison. That's where all your damage comes from. So when you go into it, it does poison to whoever's in it, right? And then when you do 1, now your poison's doing a lot more because of their protection debuff. You do your 3 and you do your 2. Okay? That's huge. That right there, like, you're doing so much damage. That's why I love Fafnir so much. So basically, how I play Fafnir is I play a very aggressive Fafnir, but I still support my teammates. So your 2's super important to get on your ADC or whoever's doing the damage with basic attacks, right? Because at the end, it's 50% attack speed buff, which is crazy. So you get bonus damage from the target's power, which is amazing. So when you buff your ADC and he's getting that 50 attack speed, that's awesome, right? But another huge thing to come with your 2 is that heal. The heal is awesome as well. So like, I mean, in the beginning, it's not going to do a whole lot, right? But once you get it leveled up, the heal is huge. And if you can't get your 2 onto your teammate, but you need the heal, just use it. Don't even worry about it, okay? It's fine. So at this point, this is kind of a quick little Fafnir tips. But if you guys are interested in a guide, please let me know in the comments, and make sure to like the video. But I'm going to go over my build real quick with him. So I don't get blue boots. I go straight into purple boots, okay? As a starter item, I'm huge into the Mark of Vanguard for Joust, just because it's so good because of that archer damage, right? So if I'm going for an aggressive build, I go into the Shoes of the Magi, my bad, and then I go into Breastplate. Now, the huge thing with Breastplate is early game Fafnir's mana consumption is ridiculous, right? If you want to use your ult, it's 100 out of your 400 that you have to start with. So by getting the Breastplate, that gives you an extra 300, and it gives you cooldown reduction, so it's the perfect item for Fafnir. That means you can get off more stuns and debuffs in your ult, and more attack speed boosts and leaps, okay? So then I'll go into Void Stone. Now this magic protection, it reduces magical protection. So you're reducing the magical protection by 20, and you're shredding through the defenses. That is ridiculous, man. You are wrecking everything in your path. So then what I like to do is I'll go into a dual protection item if I'm looking to be more tanky. And this depends. So it's between Mantle of Discord, Spirit Robe, and Hide of the Urchin. Now, with Fafnir, here's the kind of thing. So if you do go into Hide of Urchin is a great item to get early. So you're going to have to rush Hide of Urchin or rush your boots and then straight into Hide of Urchin. Now this is really good because it makes you more tanky and it gives you that mana. It doesn't give you that cooldown reduction or the amount of mana that Breastplate gets you. But that's fine because you get the +3 physical and magical protection for each stack that you get, right? So at that point, it's a 65 physical and magical protection item, which is it's awesome, right? So Spirit Robe and Mantle is what I personally like going into, but if I am forced into getting an Urchin, I'm more than down with it, right? So Spirit Robe is if they have a high CC team and you're not able to do anything really because you get the additional 15% damage mitigation for 3 seconds. And you get cooldown and crowd control reduction and its protections. All around fantastic item, right? But Mantle of Discord is my favorite item to get with them, okay? So it gives you the 60-60 and then the 15, right? It's a very expensive item, I understand that, but hear me out. As a dragon, what I do is okay, check this out. I will leap onto a target, stun them with my 1, and then I'll just transform right then, right? And if they use their escape, then you follow them with your leap, because your leap is one of the longest leaps in the game. It's ridiculous. And when you leap on them, it stuns them. You're able to get off your 1, get off your 2, and then just wreck, right? Okay, so this whole time, you are frontlining for your team. That is your job, right? And that's why you try to turn around with your 2 and put it on teammates to give them the attack speed buff to do the damage needed to kill the person when you're in their face. And I apologize for talking fast. I'm just trying to get out the information, okay? So here's why I like Mantle so much. So you're in their face and you're just going with your dragon. And you get your stun. You get a 1-second stun and you're CC immune for 1 second, which is huge. You're able to be as aggressive as you want with as little penalty as you can have, because if you go in and you're just getting wrecked, right? That 1-second stun, usually you can get off at 3 and you're gone, right? Okay, so after Mantle of Discord, this is where you decide if you want to be more damage or more tank, okay? Now, it depends on the matchup. If you need it, definitely go into Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver is so good. It's just that it's more mana, and it's that passive that's great. Okay, 10% of maximum health on a target is fantastic when you're just going in. So one ability, 10% of the health. That's awesome, right? I'm a big fan of Soul Reaver, but if I have to, I'm not going to go into Soul Reaver. I would go into a different physical protection item, like Dynasty Plate Helm. So this is going to give you 45 magical power and 30%, or 30 physical protection plus your 15 pin, okay? So now you have 15 pin on here, plus you have your 10 pin here, so you have 25, which is 50% of the max you can have. If you don't know, the max pin that you have is 50, so 25 is great. Now, so if you do go ahead and you buy that, it's your last item, right? Well, I mean, now we're on to your last item. I just like getting the Dynasty Play Helm because of that. It all depends on your game and what you need to build against, right? So if it is their ADC that's wrecking you, you might have to be forced to go into a Sovereignty or something for your team. Or if your team is all far back while you're frontlining and they're getting up to damage, like if they're mages or they're ADCs, then Sovereignty isn't going to help you too much, in my opinion, because I like to get way in their face. So I might go into a Mystical, or if it's their ADC that's completely wrecking me, I'd go into Hide of the Demand. Okay? That thing is great, or Witchblade. And that just kind of ruins their day. And then I'd finish it up with, Soul Reaver, just because if you get to that point in the match, it's just so good. Also, another item to look at would be Winged Blade, just because of the health, the movement speed, attack speed, and the passive is great, and the crowd control reduction. It's just all around a fantastic item for supports. So now I'm going to talk about what actives I get with this guy. Okay, so to start with, no question, completely meditation. Okay, med is such a good item on Fafnir because, like I said in the beginning, you only have 400 mana. And by the time you hit level 5, you're going to need more mana. You're going to be mana hungry as shit, okay? So once you get med, you can surprise the shit out of them. Because if I were to transform and I have no mana, they're going to come into me because they're not scared of me. Then I use my med and I'm able to get off at least a 1 or a 3-1 combo that puts 2 ticks of poison on him and has the protection debuff. That is huge, okay? So, like I was saying about the heal, make sure if you need the heal, you heal yourself, okay? Like if I'm almost dead, quick heal does so much. You do not have to get that on your teammate. Try as hard as you can, but don't die because you need a heal and you're looking to put it on a teammate, okay? Don't do that. That's definitely not what you want. Just get that heal on yourself. Okay, so here's another thing that I do want to talk about. I guess I should go over the other relic, right? So the other relic I'll get with him is either Curse or Thorns, okay? Thorns is fantastic because when you're being hyper aggressive, it discourages them from, going on you because they take a ton of damage in return. But I'll either go Curse or Thorns. Very rarely I go Shell, and those are my actives that I get on this guy because he's a monster. He's an absolute monster, okay? So a huge thing to remember is your 1 goes through walls, okay? Do not forget that. The 1 goes through walls. I know it seems like it shouldn't, but it definitely does. You're able to help teammates even if you're low health and you're on the other side of a wall. Throw your 1 through the wall. Get them the help that they need so they can get out, okay? That is your primary goal as support, is you want to be able to let your team level and get where they need to be in order to win the match. You're not going to win the match yourself. You're a fucking support, for God's sakes, okay? But I will tell you that Fafnir can melt, okay? So if you throw your 1, so like I said before, if you initiate with your 1, you go in with your 3, and you ult right away, they're stunned, and they're taking, you don't even have to go in with your 3. If you're close enough, you go with your 1 and ult. That means that they take that initial poison damage, and then you're able to answer with a protection debuff and then a 3 in order to keep them there as long as you can, okay? This is, it's ridiculous. It does so much. I do not understand why not everybody loves Fafnir as much as I do. He is just such a goddamn good god. I mean, look. I mean, it's raw bot, right? So it's not that impressive. But the attack speed and then the poison does so much, man. The poison does so much. A huge thing I do have to mention is when you're playing Fafnir, a huge thing that you have to pay attention to is the timer down below when you're in dragon form. When you're in dragon form at level 1, you're only in dragon form for 20 seconds, okay? So that your cooldown on your 1 with just breastplate is, here, let's sell mantle, let's see exactly. It's going to be 12 seconds. So you're going to be able to get off 1, okay? Like a single 1 when you're in dragon form. That, it sucks, but make the most of that, okay? I see people playing Fafnir like super support Fafnir. Dude, that's not how I play him. I mean, that could work for you, but the way I play him is super hyper aggressive. Be able to kill that mage if you need to. Be able to make your team, allow your team the front line that you need. Okay? And if you die and your team gets the kill, and they're able to wipe, and the only person that died was their support, that's that's fine. That's optimal, you know? So like I said, you do that, and then your leap, look how long that leap is. That's absolutely ridiculous. So when you leap, it has that stun, like I said. And then from the stun, protection debuff. And then you 2, and you wreck. Now, when you transform, and you, either in or out, your cooldowns are reset, which is super important to realize. Because if I'm aggressing as a dragon, and I need to stun and transform, they had just been stunned right there, and I'll just get out. And that's if I need to be able to do that. That's very situational. But just remember, as Fafnir, you have 2 stances, and you can choose between those stances. Just make sure that it's not instant, you know? Like, you have to realize that it's not. Also, your 3 does damage. So, don't use it for damage. But it does do damage. Your self-heal's amazing. Other than that, I'm pretty sure that's all I have to say for right now. If you guys aren't interested in a full guide on him, please tell me in the comments. Make sure to like this video if you enjoy this type of video. And yeah, if you find yourself here often, make sure you please subscribe. I appreciate all the support I've been given. And thank you guys for watching so much.